Most people scrolling YouTube right now are looking for the next big opportunity, and I promise you, they're going to miss this one. Just like they missed social media marketing in 2012, just like they missed dropshipping, and just like they missed crypto. AI voice agents are the next big move. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to build one and get paid for it. My name is Noah, and I'm a co-founder of Sixflow Automations, an AI automation agency where we build and sell these systems to real businesses. And together with my business partner, Adam, we also run a community called the Voice Agent Business Academy, where we teach everything it takes to start and grow an AI voice agent business, from building the tech to finding clients to closing deals. But in this video, I'm giving you the foundation completely for free. So let's jump right into it. So the first platform that you're going to need to head over to is called Retell AI. Now this is going to be the hub of where everything is controlled, and it's also going to be the platform where we actually build out and host the AI voice agent. So you can head over to retellai.com or use our affiliate link that will be placed in the description below. It won't cost you anything extra, but if you want to support us, you can use that link to create your voice agents. Now, if you don't have an account, once you sign up, this is what it's going to bring you to, which is the agent hub or your agent dashboard within Retell AI. So you can see here, I have a bunch of agents, which are my YouTube demonstration agents, but yours will likely be empty unless Retell imported some demo agents for you. I'm not sure. I haven't signed up in a while, but I have a feeling like that's something they would do. Anyways, we're going to go right into creating an agent. So what we're going to do is hit the create an agent button in the top right corner. And for this demonstration, we're going to be clicking voice agent, and we're going to go over to single prompt agent, which are a little bit simpler to build. And we're going to go ahead and hit create from blank. So automatically you're going to be brought into this page. And I know it can be a little intimidating with all the settings to configure the voice agent prompt, the voice itself, language, and so on. Honestly, just follow exactly what I'm going to do, and it's going to set your voice agent up with the correct settings to make it sound as crisp as possible. So the first thing you're going to want to do is change your language. If it's not English, you can choose a different language. They have a bunch to choose from. And if you want a multilingual agent, you can just click on multi-select. This is going to allow you to select multiple different languages. And in your prompt, if you want your agent to speak different languages, you can just select the languages that you want and give it instructions for when to use which language. But we're keeping things simple for now. I'm going to leave it on English, and we're going to leave the model as GPT 4.1. It's the suggested model. It's the most used, and we're going to trust it. Now, moving on to the voice, don't worry about the settings. They're already configured to be optimized, but you can go ahead and choose any voice you really want. You can listen to them, see how each of them sounds. Now, the default voice is Simo, and it's a very good choice to go for. It's an American middle-aged woman with a very calm voice. I'll give you a quick listen.
Hi, I'm Simo, an AI voice agent for Retell AI. My calm, friendly voice.
But like I said, there's many to choose from, different genders, different accents. And if you want a wider range of options, you can just click on custom providers. You'll see a lot more options over here. The voice is really preference, so it's really up to you which voice you want to go for. However, I will say there are some voices that perform better than others, and Simo is definitely a top performing voice. So we're going to go ahead and leave it on that. All right, so next, I'm just going to walk you through a bunch of configuration settings. I'll give you a quick breakdown on what they're actually doing, but you don't have to read too much into it. Like I said, these are going to be the optimized settings that you'll probably use for every single agent. So you can just follow along with me and do exactly as I do. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to the time zone, which is this button next to the agent handbook. And you're just going to set whatever time zone you're in. So for me, I'm here in Toronto, so I'm just going to select that. This is essentially just giving the agent real-time access to the current date and time, because they do tend to hallucinate all of the time if you don't set this. All right, so next we're going to move on to the agent handbook. This is actually a new feature that Retell added, and it's honestly so good, because before you would pretty much have to manually add each of these into our prompt. But essentially what Retell has done is come up with optimized prompt snippets that it automatically injects into the prompt if you toggle these on. So off the bat, you can see professional rep personalities already toggled on, meaning that we don't need to give the agent specific instructions on its personality if we don't want to, because this is going to already give it a professional rep personality. However, if you do want it to have a really custom personality, like, I don't know, like upbeat or crazy for some reason, then maybe toggle this off and go ahead and put that in your prompt. I don't know why you would ever do that though, but I'll leave that up to you. Next, we got natural filler words. So this, it does make the agent sound a lot more human-like, because humans use words like or yeah or okay or whatever. So if you toggle this on, it's going to throw some of those in there while it talks, just making it sound a little bit more fluent and human-like. Let's go ahead and turn that on. High empathy, we're actually not going to need that for this type of agent that we're building. That's more for like dealing with callers' concerns. If they're very frustrated, it will try to calm them down or whatever it does. We're not going to worry about that. Let's just leave that off. Let's head over to accuracy and formats next. This is actually a very important section, because a big problem in the past with these AI voice agents was accurately collecting information and passing it along to whatever automation automation you're running next. So what Retell has done is create these prompt injections for things like echo verification, NATO phonetic alphabet, and speech normalization and smart matching that just give the agent a bit of an edge when it's collecting information so that it's more accurate. Now, to be honest, speech normalization doesn't necessarily belong in this section. I guess it is type of format per se, but what it's doing is taking these symbols and turning them into natural spoken form. So like, for example, the $sign. If you don't have this on, it may say literally $sign. Obviously, you don't want that. That sounds stupid. So what you're going to do is toggle this on, and instead of saying $sign 24.12, it's going to say $24.12. So I always turn this on. It makes it sound a lot better. And if you don't turn it on, it may sound really stupid. On phonetic alphabet, that one is a bit intense and sort of overkill in my opinion in a lot of scenarios. I would use it if the agent really needed to collect the information and clarify 100%, but a lot of the time it does perfect without this. So you don't necessarily need it, but pretty much what it's doing is like, if it needs to give a name, for example, it's going to be like N as in nature, O as in ocean. If you want that, go ahead and turn it on. We're going to leave it off for this demonstration. Echo verification is a good one. This is essentially just repeating back to the user what they said as a confirmation. So if I said my email is XYZ at example, it's just going to be like, okay, and just to confirm your email is XYZ at example, right? So that one's always good to have. It's just a double check to ensure that the agent is getting specific information correct. Smart matching is another cool one, a little bit advanced. You don't necessarily need it, but it is kind of cool to turn on because pretty much the way voice agents work is it hears audio input, converts that to text, then reads that text, and then generates a response and converts that response back to audio. So a lot of the time in that system, certain words can be transcribed incorrectly. So like you can see they give a few examples. Emily might be written as Amelia, and that may change a lookup that the agent is doing in the knowledge base. If a user says Emily and it transcribes as Amelia and the agent needs to go back to the knowledge base to find Emily, it's not going to find it, right? So smart matching just essentially allows matches near variance. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn this on. I haven't really tested it much with it on, but I guess we'll see. Trust and safety, AI disclosure. So if they ask if it's AI, it'll say it's AI. Always good to keep on. That's actually really important when you're building voice agents. Scope boundaries, another one to just enable because it pretty much just keeps your agent limited to what it has information about. Doesn't let it go off track. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to hit save. I know that was a lot of explanation, but if you want, just skip through it, click what I click. We're going to move on to some of the core settings now. I'm going to fly through this because a lot of the things are self-explanatory and stuff you just don't need to worry about. Functions, don't worry about. We're actually going to get to that later in the video. Knowledge base, again, don't worry about. We'll get to that later. Speech settings. So we have responsiveness and interruption sensitivity. These are two very important settings. Responsiveness is going to control how fast the agent responds to the user. I usually turn this down a bit to about 0.95 because sometimes the agent will talk before the user is done if it's turned all the way up. And I think the latency on 0.95 is just crisp. Interruption sensitivity, I'm going to go ahead and turn that down actually because we don't want the agent being interrupted. Let's say if you have the phone on speaker and you put it down on the table, it makes a bit of a bang and then the agent gets interrupted and it just doesn't sound good. I like to keep that a bit lower so that it continues talking. Sometimes it's annoying because it's hard to cut it off a little bit, but it's also really annoying if you make sudden sounds and then it stops talking. My personal opinion, I would lower that a bit. A couple other settings, if you're interested, you can add background noise to make it sound like the agent is in a coffee shop or a convention hall or outdoor for some reason. I never turn this on, but go ahead if you want. Dynamically adjust based on user input. This is a cool function that they added. I sort of turn it on sometimes because I'm curious to get some test data on how well it actually works. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Everything else in here, don't worry about unless your agent is pronouncing certain words weirdly. You can add pronunciation rules. If that happens to you, I mean, you can go ahead and use it. I've never really experienced that, to be honest. So let's move on. Real-time transcription settings. Again, nothing to worry about in here. The only one thing I'll let you know is sometimes it is better to optimize for accuracy. Again, your agent really needs to be accurate on the information it's collecting. And another sometimes useful function is the denoising mode, changing that to remove noise plus background speech. This is really just if you find the agent being interrupted a lot when there's a lot of background noise, like stuff like that. But honestly, just leave it as is. It's going to work perfectly. Call settings. All we're going to do here is toggle on voicemail detection and say hang up if voicemails reached. We don't want to be leaving any voicemails, even though this is an inbound agent, so there's no reason reason it should, but whatever. End call on silence. I hate how they do this. No one should stay on the phone for 10 minutes if there's a word not being said. That makes no sense. It's going to waste your money. Lower it to like 30 seconds. They're trying to get a little extra money out of you. Don't do that. The max call duration, again, an hour. Imagine your agent's on the phone for an hour, how much that's going to hurt your bank account. Like, let's lower that. Who's on the phone for an hour anyway? 15 minutes is even playing it safe. Like, I'm sure 10 minutes is more than enough. Regardless, if it does reach this limit, the agent's sort of just going to hang up. So if you are building agents that for some reason have very long conversations, feel free to increase that. Post call data. This is a really cool and very useful feature. I use it all the time for all our agents. I'm not going to touch much on it in this video, although I do have a video where I break this down completely on how to use it. So if you're interested, I'll link that up above. Security and fallback, nothing to worry about here. Leave it as is. Webhook settings. Again, this is used for stuff like post call analysis. So you'll learn more about it if you go check out that video. And MCPs, don't even worry about. All right, agent configured. I'll see you guys next time. I'm just joking, of course. Let's continue on. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with the welcome message. So this is an inbound agent. So we're going to switch this to the AI speaks first. And rather than dynamic message, we're actually going to go with a custom message. Now we'll deal with actually inputting the message later on when we go to a certain business that we're going to scrape. One other setting I just want to adjust quickly is the pause before speaking. It's originally set to 0 seconds, meaning that right when the user calls, like with 0 seconds in between, the agent's going to start talking. I like to leave a little bit of a pause just to make sure that the user is listening. You know, sometimes you're on your phone, you make a call and you only put it to your ear like a second later. So put it on 0.6, whatever. All right. So now to the good stuff. We got to create the actual prompt itself. We got to create the welcome message. Then we'll go into creating all the functions like I talked about in the intro, call transfer, check availability, book meetings, and so on. So we're going to hop into that right now. The first thing we're going to do is check out the business that we're going to build this agent for. Here's what I'm thinking. We got Rosedale Hardware from Toronto, Ontario, established in 1953. Looks like a hardware company that sells stuff like sinks and toilets and whatever else, hardware, kitchen, bathroom, and so on. This is what we're going to create the inbound agent for. It'll be able to answer questions about this business. It'll be able to book meetings into their calendar. It'll be able to call transfer if people ask for specific names and so on. We're just going to go with this and we'll see how it turns out. So before we jump into the actual build, I know building voice agents is a very custom solution and it's very dependent on the type of business and the industry that you're working with. But a lot of the prompt is actually the same, just with small tweaks. So if you're looking to build in the trades industry, real estate, law, dental, whatever it is, a lot of the information stays the same. However, a lot of the information will also be brand new based on that industry. But that shouldn't scare you at all because we're not even writing the prompt ourselves. We're going to get Claude to do it regardless. All we need to do is tell Claude what industry we're doing it for, what the business is, and instruct it how to write the prompt. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So don't worry if you're trying to build an agent not for Rosedale Hardware. It's going to be a lot of the same steps. All right, so now we know what business we're building this for. So we're back in the agent and we're just going to quickly set up the opening message. Hi there. Thanks for calling Rosedale Hardware. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult to do. Very simple opening message. And now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and build the knowledge base before we actually tackle the prompt. So there's a couple ways to go about this. We have a website here that has information. Ideally, if you're building for a client, you can actually talk to them, see what they want the agent to have knowledge on. But of course, we don't have that privilege right now. All we have is their website. What we're going to do is use a tool that crawls this entire website, gets all the information about this website, about this business, about what they sell, about who they are, and so on. Then we're going to convert that to a knowledge base using Claude. What you're looking at right now is a website called Firecrawl. Pretty much what they do is they search websites, they scrape them, they map them, or they crawl them. Now we're going to stick with the crawl feature. Pretty much what this does is you give it a parent domain and it will go into that domain, grab all the information on that, as well as all the subdomains. So for example, if you have a website like 6flow Automations, you also have a sub URL that's 6flow Automations /about and /prices and so on. So that's why we use the crawl feature. It's very simple. All you're going to want to do is in this box right here, after signing up, of course, you're going to paste the domain in just like that. And all we're going to do is click run. All right, the crawl is complete. So now all we're going to do is download it in Markdown, wait for it to generate, wait for it to say download complete. And now we have a Markdown file with all the information on this website. So it gets exported as a zip file that contains the markdowns of all these scrapes it did. So it has all the subdomain or sub URLs here. We have the about, the brands, the contact, the products, and so on. These are all going to be turned into a properly formatted knowledge base for our agent to refer to. All right, so here's the deal. I've actually built a very detailed Claude project that is so optimized for building voice agent knowledge bases along with voice agent prompts. It's the most useful AI voice agent assistant you could ask for. If you guys want access to it, it is in our school community. I know that's not what you want to hear, but if you want to support us and you want the Claude project, just click that link in the description. However, I know that's a little annoying to hear, so I'm going to show you a few workarounds that you can do completely for free if you're not ready to join just yet. All right, so here's a quick workaround to create a knowledge base based on a website. All you're going to want to do is attach the MD files that we crawled using Firecrawl, and you're just going to paste this prompt in right here. This last point is very important. We want it to return a .md file, which is markdown, because that is how the agents best read knowledge bases. So the last thing we're going to do before we send this off is go ahead and turn on adaptive thinking, because we love adaptive thinking on Claude. It performs better. If you want it to be really crisp, we can up the model to Opus 4.7, but I've been using Claude Code a lot this week, so I don't want to hit my limit. So I'm going to go ahead and send this off. It's just finishing up. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and download this, and this is going to be the knowledge base that we attach to the agent. All right, so we're back in Retell AI. Now we're going to go ahead and add our knowledge base. So what we're going to do first is just give this agent a name. All right, so to attach a knowledge base to your Retell AI agent, we're actually going to have to go ahead and exit the agent. We're going to click that home button. We're going to go down to knowledge bases. We're going to go ahead and click that plus button. We'll give it a name. Now you can see we can attach documents. So we're going to go ahead and upload a file. So you're just going to want to attach the MD file that Claude created for us, and then we're just going to hit save, and that's it. All right, you'll see your new knowledge base is successfully uploaded. We're going to go head back to the agent. We're going to go back into our agent, and now what we're going to do is go under the knowledge base section. We're going to click this add button, and we're going to attach our knowledge base, and boom, just like that, our agent has access to all the information on this company's website. So while we're working on knowledge base, we might as well configure these settings. So we got adjust knowledge base retrieval chunks and similarity. Pretty much what this is saying is every time the agent needs to check the knowledge base, it's going to get a certain amount of chunks from the knowledge base, because it's not going to read the entire thing every single time. So pretty much the more chunks that you get, the more unrelated certain chunks would be to what the user is actually asking. Whereas if you retrieve less of them, they're going to be more targeted towards what the user is asking. So pretty much if it's not a huge knowledge base, I would leave this as lower, because you can confuse the agent by retrieving too many chunks. And in this case, a knowledge base isn't that long. So let's just leave it at 3. Similarity threshold, I actually want to lower this a bit. Let's go to 0.4. So what this is doing is when it's matching chunks to context, a higher value gives fewer but more similar matches. So now we're going to go ahead and press save, and our knowledge base is officially complete. By the way, if you're not sure about what to do for these settings for your specific case, just ask Claude. That's what we all do. All right, we're moving on now. We actually have to create the prompt. Now this technically is the longest part of the entire build, because there's a lot of tweaking back and forth, but let's see if Claude can hit it on the first try. So again, like I said, the Claude project is in our school community. But if you're not ready to join yet, I'm going to show you a workaround to give Claude some nice context to create you a crisp agent prompt. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to head back into the home tab of Retell AI. Now we're going to go ahead and press create an agent, voice agent, and we're going to go back to single prompt. Now what you can see here is that Retell provides us with a crap ton of templates. And because these templates are coming from Retell AI themselves, they're likely very good. So we can scroll through the different types. We got receptionist, outbound sales, appointment booking, lead qual, and so on. You're just going to want to find a section that relates to the agent you're building. For us, that's likely just going to be an appointment booking agent. So we can see here, rider appointment booking, service appointment booking. Let's just see what rider is all about. And boom, we have an exact template prompt that we can work off of. I'm going to go ahead and create this agent. So now all we need to do is copy this prompt, give it to Claude, tell it our use case, and have it spit out a new prompt for our specific case. All right, so back in Claude, I'm going to use the same chat that we used to build the knowledge base, since it already has all the context it needs about the business itself. Now what I'm going to do is paste in that prompt that we just copied from Retell's template agent, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. We want to keep the prompt efficient and under 3,500 tokens, because that's the suggested limit for single prompt voice agents. Anything above that, the latency will start to increase, the cost will start to go up, and the agent will start to become more confused. So it's good to keep these prompts concise. Return the universal prompt in code window and in markdown format. Let's go ahead and send that off and see how it does. Much quicker this time. So let's go ahead and copy this now. And we're going to head back into Retell AI to paste this in. All right, so in this fat box where it says your universal prompt, that's exactly where we're going to paste this in. Let's do a little cleanup first. I saw something I didn't like, which was this. Let's actually just get Claude to reformat this part right here. I'll reformat this into a list. Boom. head back into the prompt. Let's go ahead and paste that there. So our prompt is pretty much complete. This is looking good, guys. This is looking real good. The last thing that we actually need to do is just set up the functions and we're good to go. All right, so for functions, let's just start off simple. The call transfer is quite simple to set up. So what we're gonna do is press add. We're gonna go to the call transfer function. You'll see a new window pop up. May be intimidating. I don't know if you get intimidated by a bunch of information thrown at you, but hopefully not. Just follow exactly what I do. Name, description, leave as is. Transfer to, so this is a part that you probably want to be aware of. Static destination essentially always transfers to this number. Dynamic routing can transfer to multiple numbers based on certain situations. So in a case like this, if we were actually building this out for a client, we would use dynamic routing if there's multiple people. So for example, if someone asks to speak to Sarah, then we transfer to this number. If someone asks to speak to John, we transfer to this number and so on. But because I only have one phone, I'm just going to keep it on static destination. And I'm just going to input my number, which I'll do at the end. So I don't give out my number, of course. All right. So here's actually a cool setting that I always use, warm transfer. Pretty much what it does is when the agent transfers a call, before it actually connects the user and the person it's transferring to, it gives the person it's transferring to a quick whisper message, which can be anything you want, like who's calling or why they're calling, a quick summary. I always keep it as a quick summary. So we'll turn it on warm transfer and I'll demo this for you once the build is done. We're turning on warm transfer and then we're going to enable this whisper message by clicking that. And now we can create the handoff message. So you can make this static, but I don't see the point in a whisper message being static. You might as well not have it. I don't know. So prompt will just simply be summarize the call up until the point of transfer. And that's it. Everything else, don't worry about. And let's click save. Boom, call transfer done. Simple as that. All right, moving on. Here's the thing about the checking calendar availability and booking on the calendar. It's very simple to set up. However, you are going to need a cal.com account. So let's go ahead and head over to cal.com before we set up these functions. All right, so once you head over to cal.com and you create your account or whatever you got to do, an event is sort of just to keep track of where each booking is coming from. So if you have a bunch of agents that all book meetings in different calendars, you set up different events. Anyways, let's go ahead and create a new event. I'll show you how to do this really quickly. Actually, hold up. If you're new to cal.com, you're going to have to connect your calendar first. So if you go into apps and then App Store, you can choose Google Calendar or Outlook or whatever. You can just search it up here and just go ahead into details and then just install the add-on and it'll walk you through how to do it. It's very simple. Once you do that though, let's go back here and we'll create a new event, give it a name, duration, put it as you wish. If it's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. Location, so you can switch this to stuff like Google Meet, in person. You'll have more options here if you go into apps and download more stuff. So for example, if you want Zoom meetings, just go to apps, download Zoom and it'll pop up here. For now, it doesn't matter because we're not going to hop on any meeting in this video. So availability, here's where you can set your availability and time zone. All you got to do to edit this is press edit availability. You'll be able to change all this. Limits, buffer time. So this is like a buffer time between meetings. So before event and after event. Minimum notice. So people can only book 2 hours before. Stuff like that. I mean, this is all pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to walk you through an entire cal.com breakdown. So what we're just going to do is go to advanced. This is the only section we sort of need to focus on. And this is what we need to collect from the user to book a meeting, right? So we need email address and we need name. Now to actually set up the function in Retell AI, we need two pieces of information. The first one is going to be your event ID. Now this is really simple to get. It's right here in the URL, a 7-digit number. Just click on this, copy that, and that's your event ID. So we're back in Retell AI. Now we can go ahead and set up the function. So the first one's going to be check calendar availability. So you can rename it if you want, but don't, because in the prompt, we said this is the name. We need an API key and event ID. So our event ID is going to go right here. You can go ahead and change the time zone right now to your actual time zone. And we're also going to need a API key. Now it's not going to let me save this without the key. Oh, it is going to let me save it. Okay, never mind. Let's go ahead and now add the book on the calendar. So same thing, same event ID and save. Oh, so this one. Oh, great. That makes total sense. All right, so we need our API key. That's actually fine because we already set up the other one. So now we can go grab it. The reason I'm annoyed is because I don't want to have to like go back and forth between each, get the API key, then the event ID to set up both. I just want to put event ID, API. But anyways, get your API key. Let's go to settings in Cal. We're going to head down to the developer section and you'll see API keys. Oh, my face is blocking it. You'll see it. Don't worry. We're going to go ahead and press create new key, give it a name. You can set it to never expires. You should do this if it's constantly active. You can also have an expiration date if you want. Doesn't matter to me. Copy your API key and we're going to paste that under the API key section. Then we'll click save. Now we'll go back to check calendar availability. Same thing. and click update. Boom, function set up. That's literally how simple it actually is. Guys, we're pretty much done. Like that is the entire build of the agent. The very last thing to do is just connect it to a phone number and publish it and you're done. I say that like it's not a task in itself. If you're new to this, it could take a little bit to learn how to get the phone number imported into your Retell AI account, connect the agent to it, and so on. However, if you do live in Canada or USA, this is actually simpler than it seems. All you got to do is go to home. You're going to go to phone numbers. You're going to press create a new number, buy a new number, and then you'll see a bunch of options here that you can just buy, and you can switch to Canada as well. Now, this is the simplest method. A couple downsides, it actually costs more than the method I use, which is the Twilio route. And number two, maybe you don't live in Canada or America and you don't want to use these numbers. If that's the case, don't worry. I have a completely free breakdown on how to do the Twilio setup to import a number into Retell AI, and then you can connect that number to the agent. So I'll link that up above for you guys. I already have a number imported, so we're just going to use that. So what I'm going to do is we're back in the agent, and you'll see the big publish button in the top right. We're going to go ahead and click that. This, of course, is an inbound agent. So we're going to select inbound. We'll connect it to our phone number and we'll hit publish. All right, time for the demo. Trying to think what tests we should do. So let's test a call transfer, of course. Let's test booking meeting and let's ask some questions. So I think we can get that done in 2 tests. So the first thing we're going to do is call transfer and ask it a few questions. To ask it a few questions, I should probably know what questions to ask. Back in the website, let's go to like brands or something. By the way, the transfer number is my number. So I'm going to have to like hang up on the agent to answer the transfer call, but don't look at the number.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Rosedale Hardware. How can I help you today?
How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions about your faucets and plumbing fixtures. I'm just looking for a specific brand and it's called Vola.
Yeah, we do carry Vola as one of our featured brands for faucets and plumbing fixtures. If you're looking for something specific from Vola or want to see their products in person, we have hands-on displays in our showroom. Is there a particular product or style you're interested in, or would you like to know more about what's available?
Actually, follow-up question, do you also sell Waterworks?
Yes, we do sell Waterworks as well. They're one of our key brand partners, and we can source a wide range of their products, even custom finishes or special configurations if you need something unique. Are you looking for a specific Waterworks item or just exploring options?
You know what? Is there someone on the team that I can talk to?
No problem. Let me get you connected with the right person on our team. One moment.
All right, so we see it's transferring the call, right? So I'm going to go ahead and answer the transfer. Hello?
Hi, I have a customer on the line who has questions about our Vola and Waterworks faucets and plumbing fixtures. They're interested in learning more about specific products and available options and would like to speak with someone who can assist further.
Okay. It just connected the call after that because it's the same number, it doesn't work. How long did that take us to build? And look how good it's acting, right? Call transfer, answering questions correctly. By the way, we tested it. We do have one more test to do though, so I'm not going to speak too soon. Back in the calendar, we're going to run another test. We're going to try to book a meeting.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Rosedale Hardware. How can I help you today?
Hey, I'm looking to book a showroom visit.
All right. I can help you set up a showroom visit. Can I start with your full name?
Yeah, my full name is Noah Brandis.
Thanks, Noah. What date and time would you like to come in? Our showroom is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Cool. Let's do next Thursday at 2 p.m.
Let me just check if 2 p.m. next Thursday is available for your visit. Okay, 2 p.m. next Thursday is available. What's the best email address to send your confirmation to?
You can go ahead and send it to xyz@example.com.
Just to confirm, that's xyz@example.com. Is that right?
That is right.
Great. And just so we can prepare, is this visit for a specific project, a trade program inquiry, or more of a general showroom visit?
Yeah, it's just a general visit.
Thanks, Noah. To confirm, I'm booking a showroom appointment for you on Thursday, May 21st at 2 p.m., and the confirmation will go to xyz@example.com. Does that all look right?
That does all look right.
You're all set. Your appointment is confirmed for Thursday, May 21st at 2 p.m. you'll get a confirmation at xyz@example.com. Our showroom is at 147 King Street West, Suite 200. Just take the elevator to the second floor. Is there anything else I can help you with? Thanks for calling Rosedale Hardware. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything else.
Okay, it's being annoying now. Yeah, for some reason my calendar was in October or whatever, but it worked. Here's our meeting. Now, I'll be honest on a couple things there because the booking process was a little bit too robotic for my liking. It confirmed the email twice, which is too much, although we do see the echo verification working, which is nice, right? So there's definitely some tweaks that we need to do in the prompt to make this as fluent as possible. That's no doubt. But what I'm trying to get at is that we just spent the last, I don't even know how long this video is going to be, building an entirely functional AI voice agent that you can literally start selling to businesses as soon as possible. You have everything you need to build these agents now. And I'm not sure if you've checked out the market recently or the explosion of AI, but this is happening and it's happening quick. So if you want a real opportunity to make money with AI, this is it. This is your biggest opportunity right here. So I highly suggest you hop on it. You know everything you need to start building them. Of course, there's going to be specifics that I didn't cover, but everything is covered in our community if you want a step-by-step walkthrough on every type of build there is. And you can always just drop a comment and I'll be responding to all of them with any questions that you have. I'm here to help you guys. I'm just want you guys to know that this opportunity is not going to be here forever. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you stick around till the end, really means a lot. If you can hit that subscribe button, it would mean even more to me and Adam and the channel in general as we're trying to grow. Of course, I'm going to be hitting you guys with a bunch of new breakdowns, new builds as this technology evolves. So it will really help you stay up to date with everything that's going on in the space. All right, with that being said, go build something and I'll see you guys later. Peace.